There is a story about a boy who was left all alone in the middle of the ocean. He had no family beside him, no human soul, only a fearsome Bengal tiger. That 16-year-old boy survived 227 days at sea, sustained only by his faith and the companionship of a tiger. After hearing this story, perhaps you too will begin to believe in God. The story begins somewhere else. We see Pai Patel, who now lives in Canada. A writer comes to meet him, someone who has been trying and failing to finish his novel for 2 years. Then the writer meets Pai's uncle. He says, "If you want to finish your book, meet Pai. He has a story for you. And after hearing that story, you'll believe in God." Pai replies, "I don't know if it will make you believe in God, but I can certainly tell you my story." And then begins the flashback, the story of Pai's childhood. Pai's full name was Piscine Patel, named after a swimming pool. But at school, everyone mocked him for it, so he changed his name to Pai. As a child, Pai practiced all faiths. He went to temples, mosques, and churches alike. From a young age, he developed the habit of praying and worshipping. His mother always supported him. She would say, "Pai is searching for his own answers. One day, he will find them." But his father always said, "Religion is darkness. The deeper you go, the more it consumes you." In Pondicherry, Pai's father owned a zoo full of animals. Among them was a Bengal tiger named Richard Parker. But that was not its real name. It was actually the name of a hunter. By mistake, it was given to the tiger. When Pai was 12, he once went to feed Richard. The tiger slowly walked toward him. Suddenly, his father appeared and scolded him severely. To teach Pai a lesson, he threw a live goat in front of Richard. The tiger snapped its neck instantly. Pai was terrified. He had thought Richard was gentle and would harm no one. That day, his perception of the tiger changed forever. Time passed, Pai grew older. He met a girl named Anandi and fell in love with her. One day, Pai's father gathered the family and said, "We are moving to Canada because our business is failing. The land here isn't ours, but the animals are. We'll take them on a ship, sell them in North America, and then settle in Canada." Pai disagreed. He didn't want to leave India. But at only 16, his opinion didn't matter. In the end, he had to obey his father. Before leaving, Pai met Anandi to tell her he was leaving India. Anandi was heartbroken. Pai couldn't do anything. Then we see Pai with his family aboard the ship. Only Pai and his mother are vegetarians. The others eat meat and fish. With no vegetarian food on board, they suffer. His father even quarrels with the crew, but somehow they manage. When the ship reaches deep waters, Pai stands on deck while his family sleeps below. Suddenly, a fierce storm hits. The ship sways, water pours inside, and it starts to sink. Some crew members launch a lifeboat and call everyone to board. Pai shouts, "My family is inside! Save them!" But the crew forcefully pushes him into the lifeboat. Pai ends up alone on the lifeboat. Suddenly, a zebra jumps from the ship into the boat. Huge waves nearly capsize it, but Pai manages to steady it. He sees something floating in the water. Thinking it's a human, he throws a life buoy, but as it approaches, he realizes it's not a man. It's Richard Parker, the tiger. Terrified, Pai jumps into the water. Climbing back onto the boat, he finds only the injured zebra inside. At dawn, Pai notices the boat filling with water. While bailing it out, a hyena emerges from under the tarpaulin and threatens him. Pai climbs up to safety.
Soon, an orangutan floats over on a bundle of bananas and boards the lifeboat. Now there are 4 creatures: Pi, the zebra, the orangutan, and the hyena. At night, the hungry hyena attacks and kills the zebra. Then it attacks the orangutan and kills it too. Just then, Richard Parker emerges from below and kills the hyena. He hadn't drowned. He was hiding under the tarpaulin all along. Then he lunges at Pi. Pi jumps into the water and climbs onto a makeshift raft. Now there are only 2 left on the boat: Pi and Richard Parker. Pi knows he won't survive long with the tiger. He tries to train it, but fails. Their food runs out. The tiger grows weak from thirst. Pi bravely gives him water and blows a whistle, trying to control him. One day, Pi tries to fish. He thinks, if Richard grows hungry, he will kill me. At first, he fails. Suddenly, Richard leaps into the water to catch fish, frightening Pi onto the raft again. Somehow, he gets the tiger back into the boat. After that, Pi begins catching fish and feeding him. Slowly, he learns to dominate the tiger. One night, a violent storm strikes. Pi and Richard nearly die. Their raft sinks. In the morning, they are exhausted. Pi cradles Richard's head and weeps, "We're going to die." But at dawn, they find their boat drifting to an island. It's full of meerkats and freshwater pools. Pi swims to drink. Richard devours the meerkats. But at night, something terrifying happens. The pools turned acidic, killing the fish. Pi opens a fruit to find human teeth inside. He realizes the island is deadly. The next morning, Pi gathers fruit and supplies and sets off to sea again with Richard. Finally, they reach the shores of Mexico. Pi collapses on the sand. Richard walks into the jungle without looking back. Pi is heartbroken and cries. Some men find him and rescue him. The story returns to the present. The older Pi, played by Irfan Khan, finishes telling the story to the writer. He says, "God was always with me. Without Richard Parker, I would have died. He gave me a reason to live." The writer, moved by the story, asks for permission to write it. Pi agrees. Thus ends this extraordinary tale. In the end, Pi was left alone. The tiger walked into the forest without ever looking back. But in that moment, Pi understood God had always been with him. Richard Parker wasn't just a tiger. He was Pi's fear, Pi's courage, and his will to survive. And maybe, for that reason, one day you too will find the Richard Parker in your own life.